Or it's Mike Langendorf, a man who has been in various European Tour events over the last few years. This is his second of 2016. Got a huge amount of experience as Mike Langendorf. But Jim Walker's a man who's been around for a while as well. Dan Dawson in the commentary box for this one. Paul Nicholson sat alongside me.
Yeah, Jim Walker is a fantastic dart player, a great ambassador for the sport. And can you believe he is 58?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg is Mike to throw first. Game on.
Kirk Bevan's getting us underway. Countdown, Kirk. Jim Walker, for me, a shining example of the fact that you can be slightly older in years, a dart player with lots of talent,
100,
and still look good for your age.
Oh. Not bad at all, Jim Walker, the Scotsman now living in the East Midlands.
He's not in bad form either. He's been keeping himself
60.
busy over the August break when the boys have been over in Australia. He went over to Aberdeen with Ricky Evans. Ricky Evans picked up the Granite City Open title in Aberdeen.
100.
But winner of the pairs was Ricky Evans with a certain Jim Walker, who is on the stage right now. So he's not playing that badly.
Yeah, long-running tournament at the Granite City Open, and it's one of those ones that, you know, obviously not a ranked event, but it's one that's got a bit of prestige about it as Walker looks to fill it up.
123.
Yeah, with a name like Granite City, it's got to have some sort of caliber, hasn't it?
Ah, I like it.
Well, the international dart tournament isn't too bad either.
No, certainly isn't.
Somebody definitely wants to get their name on this weekend.
Yeah, second year running we've been here in Risa. First year was won by Michael Smith, and Jim Walker is right in and around that treble 20 bet.
100.
Very unfortunate just to come away with a ton there.
So I have to ask Dan, has anybody made a Reese's Pieces joke yet?
Not yet. We're saving it up.
101.
I won't embellish then.
We'll find a way of crowbarring it in there over the course of the weekend, I assure you. Probably more than once.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain of that. Interesting the way that Jim Walker's darts lie on the board. If you see it
58.
straight on,
Mike, you
it's
require
a
107.
tailor-like angle, flight down, but it has a kick to the left. So the perfect first start for Jim Walker is bottom left of that
44. Jimmy require 160.
He's looking 60s here. Two of them will leave tops. Prefers the dart at the bottom like that. Wanted it in the red bit.
60.
Just been a little
Mike,
bit
you require
unfortunate in this leg with the
126.
deflections, hasn't he? They've been round about the right area and just bounced out away from the intended target. Langendorf needs treble 19, doesn't get it, so Walker comes back. Nice little two-dart finish. Looks good when it goes in.
100.
Interesting to see what he does if he misses the 60 here. He'll want to hit it though.
Ooh.
He's only got one choice now, really. Treble 15. Oh, he's gone next door again.
27.
Well,
Mike, you require
next door
40.
in every dart there from Jim Walker, but Langendorf looking at tops. Right on the top wire. And that is not where you want the second dart.
Jimmy
A
requires
brutal
73.
single one for Langendorf, and it offers Walker an opportunity.
That's the second time we've seen a one for a shot at tops. We saw it in the last game as well. 54. 40 left, Jim. Top of the shop. And
Game
tops it
shot in the
is.
first leg.
And that
Jim
fixes
Walker.
everything that's happened in that leg
Second
there.
leg, Jim to throw first.
Scores a
Game
reset,
on.
and it's 1-0 Jim Walker. And that was a break of throw, believe it or not.
There's some scruffy stuff in there, but you can't argue with that finish from Jim Walker. Didn't miss any of the big numbers. One dart at tops and took it out. Winner of this one goes through to face the number 6 seed, Ian White.
100.
And I'll be honest, I know before the tournament started, Ian White was 20-1 to go and win a maiden European Tour title, but following the news we've had in the last hour or so of Michael Van
98.
Gerwen's withdrawal, Darryl Gurney's injury that we don't, you know, he's declared himself fit, but we don't know what sort of kind of state he's going to be in when he takes to the stage tomorrow. I would imagine there'll be
140.
odds tumbling all over the place. Punters will be looking at all kinds of players thinking, well, hang on, he only needs to, might have a tricky game there, but then suddenly it opens up.
I bet the bookies have been busy the last hour.
Oof. Good luck. Makes it interesting, though.
Certainly does. Look at the force that comes out of Jim's hand when he throws this dart. Well, he's a fireman by trade. I'll tell you what, he could probably put the fires out
60.
by throwing darts at them. There's some force there.
Well, he absolutely flew through qualifying for this Jim Walker.
140.
So off Ryan Harrington, Jonathan Worsley and Matt Edgar, he only dropped 3 legs in those 3 games. So it may be his first European Tour event for 3 years, but he has emphatically booked his place here in
100.
Risa.
Old man, he's definitely upset some young guns there.
Yeah, one of them did get some revenge in the next qualifying later that evening. Ryan Harrington did him 6-0 in the qualifier for the next European Tour event in a week's time. But
60.
hey, look,
Jimmy require
there's no point winning 1 and 2 games in qualifying. Best to win all 3 and then lose first round the next one. You're guaranteed £1,000 for getting the first round of one of these. And look at this from Walker. 1 for tops. Bang in the middle of the fat one.
81.
Just pulled
Mike
that
require
last dart
120.
slightly. Langendorf looking at Shanghai to level the match with a break of throw. Good
It's all
dart.
right.
100. Jimmy require 20.
He's had a couple of shots at tops already, Langendorf, but he hasn't taken advantage because Jim Walker's coming to clean up 10s and
Game
does.
shot on the second leg.
No messing
Jim
about.
Walker.
Gradually
Good
getting
looking
better,
Mike to
Jim
throw
Walker.
first. Game on.
And that'll be encouraging for him. Had a slow start, got the break to throw, but getting better
40.
is always a good sign.
Yeah, well, Langendorf has had darts in the first 2 legs, but Walker does have a 2-0 lead. Seen him at the UK Open
99.
a couple of times, made the last 64. First one is tour card in Q School in 2012. Won it back again on points last year.
100.
It's interesting, isn't it? You know, we saw Andy Hamilton in the last game who's scrapping and really grinding to keep his career on track. Someone like Jim who
140.
looks at this more as a hobby. You know, he just doesn't look like the kind of person who's under any pressure.
60.
It's interesting, isn't it? We talked about Jim's qualification, which was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And Mike Langendorf's qualification was less than 24 hours ago.
Yes, it was.
That does play a big part in this, I believe, because
56.
confidence, it's something that sticks around. So by Mike getting through last night, he'll be confident coming into today because it's still fresh in his mind.
43.
Yeah, it's difficult to take much confidence from a qualifying campaign, however successful it was, when it was, you know, best part 2 months ago, which is what's the case with Jim Walker. But I mean, you know, as I say,
100.
he's in and around that treble bed. It's not stunning stuff, but he's given himself opportunities and taken them out. He's got a 2-0 lead, and he's 140 points ahead here and looking quite good for a 3-0 lead in what would be
Jimmy
a
require
second break of
106.
throw. So he's got 6 darts from 106, Jim Walker. Didn't need to go treble 17 ball, but he didn't want to go 5 either.
30.
No, he definitely didn't. Look at his face. He's not happy with that at all. The thing in this game is that Mike Langendorf is hitting less trebles than Jim Walker. That's pretty much the crux of it. And he
80.
has a chance as
Jimmy
Langendorf.
require
He's had a couple of
76.
pokes at double top and he hasn't taken his shot at it.
76 for 3-0, and he'll stay there for a shot at tops. Tops he wants.
56.
Now
Mike require
118.
118.
It's not the easiest one treble finish.
Has he got your number with 118? He's got one of them. He's got 2 of them. How about tops this time? Third time lucky?
98.
No, it's not.
Jimmy require 20.
Pretty much as close as he's come to that little red bit at the top of the board, Mike Langendorf, but it's not close enough. And double 10 for Walker.
Game shot on the third
3-0.
leg.
Doesn't
Jim
matter what
Walker.
angle it goes in, it's there.
Fourth leg is Jim to throw first. Game on.
Double break, Langendorf in all sorts of problems here.
Jim Walker's just taking his time under no stress whatsoever. The only person who can put stress on Jim Walker's game is Jim Walker, and that's not going to happen very often. I've never seen this man
85.
upset. I've never seen him downbeat. He is a very infectious character, and when you have a conversation with him, he's a very smart man as well.
Well, look, if you run into burning buildings for a living,
97.
taking on Mike Langendorf on stage in Risa is not going to hold any fears for you, is it?
It shouldn't.
Well, it shouldn't, no.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it goes 5-all, and we'll see if the nerves hold up.
I know a couple of fire people
140.
or firemen, firefighters that have done well in the game of darts. Best man at my wedding, Tony Burtwhistle, back in Australia.
41.
He's a fireman, and he is never under pressure in darts because of that very reason. And you've been in those situations. And they've got a thing called the police fire games as well, which is a worldwide thing. And I was talking to Jim about it maybe about a year ago, and he says he's never done it before. And my friend Tony in Australia has, you know, been a medalist in that.
66.
Very
Jim, you
interesting
require
thing to follow.
136.
And I think maybe Jim, before he decides to put his darts away, should probably have a crack at that.
100.
Well, 12 darts thrown, left himself double 18, and Jim Walker looking very, very good for a 4-0 lead, making light work of Mike Langendorf, although this might make him think.
140.
Probably needed to
Jimmy
fill it
Require
up to apply any
36.
real pressure, but Walker looking at double 18.
Shot on the
no
fourth
problem.
leg. Jim
13 darter,
Walker.
best of the match
Making
so
Mike to
far,
throw
and it is
first.
4-0.
Game on.
And yet again, Jim Walker just seems to get slightly better leg on leg. He's in it.
100.
It's almost like there's a crescendo coming. What could the crescendo be? I'm putting pressure on you now, Jim. Listen to that thump in the board. He's really giving them a howl.
85.
Worth noting that Langendorf suffered no problems in qualification last night either. He's come through relatively, he only dropped 7 legs, 6-1 against Hikmet Albay. Marcus Kessler went down 6-3 and Martin Christensen 6-3. So he's come through relatively unscathed, really, in the qualifiers, you know,
100.
less than 24 hours ago. So you would think his confidence is pretty high. And although, you know, we haven't got the strength in depth of the German game at the
45.
moment, obviously I think it'll grow as the game continues to grow here. We've still not seen Jihan Artuk qualify this weekend. It's not a gimme to get through these qualifiers.
It's very true.
60.
And we implore the kids in Germany to really pick up their darts and put some practice in, because with the likes of Max Hopp coming through, we really need German superstars in the game, because
59.
these are the stages that you can play on if you've got a good amount of ability. So it's not just the kids that we want to pick up the darts, it's the players of yesteryear. Pick up those darts again, go to the qualifiers and make a name for yourself, because there are plenty
39.
of opportunities.
Certainly, and you know, it's a pretty sparse crowd here. It's a Friday afternoon, you know, people at work, but the reason there are so many empty seats
100.
here is that they are going to be full all the way through this weekend. We came here last year and they've actually expanded the number of seats because of demand. The German fans have fallen in love with this game. You're hearing him singing German songs at Ali Pali at the World Championship, literally flying over in great numbers
59.
to watch
Mike, you require
the big
72.
event at the end of the year.
Now, Langendorf's got a foothold in this leg. Can he hit tops finally?
52.
He can't.
Jimmy require 158.
Jim's had a leg off so far. I'm sure he's hit 158 before in his life. Only one way to go.
Oof.
Triple
that's
18.
it.
100. Mike, you require 20.
Just get the feeling that Jim's not trying to get too involved in this game.
Game shot on the 5th leg. Mike Langendorf.
And he's off the mark, folks.
Six-legged Jim to throw
Langendorf 1,
first. Game
Walker
on.
4. Jim just taking it easy. You know, having that breathing space takes the stress away. That was Langendorf's throw, so really no stressing about it.
100.
You can see he used that first dart superbly to find his way into the treble bed. Couldn't follow it with the third.
100.
Very different styles between the two players as well. Jim's very deliberate. Takes it back to the eye, a prod and forward. Same rhythm with every dart. Langendorf, on the other hand, is more in the Michael van Gerwen mode
60.
of just no stopping at all, no prodding at all, back to the eye and throw. So it's there. Continue. And again.
140.
It's a strange one with Langendorf as well. He seems to twist his wrist. There's a sort of lateral movement there, which you wouldn't have thought lends itself to doing things repeatedly and getting the dart going straight. But if anything, it's Jim Walker's
59.
darts that tend to sit in the board kicking one way. It's a curious throw that Langendorf has.
He's got a very bottom-heavy dart, as you can see. All of the weight is at the bottom. He's got grooves that have taken the weight out of the top. And that's where he puts his fingers, but I think that twist at the end, it'd be interesting to see Langendorf's darts go in slow motion, because I think there'd be a lot of spinning there.
That first dart is exactly where Walker would have wanted it. He's unable to find another treble. He does get down to a finish. Get down to 184. Langendorf on a finish, but not
60.
needing to use the bullseye route there. He's left 72 again, and he didn't take it out last time. Walker may fancy his chances of getting a dart for this leg and going 5-1 up, but really needs to find a treble to give himself the best opportunity.
100.
That last one will
Mike
do.
Uruguay, 72.
Now then, Langendorf.
What can you do, Mike? Well, you can hit double 12 to get your second leg on the board, and it's a really good guide.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
Thank you for
Mike
proving me
Langendorf.
right, Mike.
7th leg is
2
Mike
legs
through
now
first.
and a break.
Game on.
So if you're going to get into the match, that was the perfect time to break. Now Jim Walker has a little bit more to think about because Langendorf is playing much better.
140.
And the crowd's involved now.
All right, it's given him something to cheer about. Langendorf, naturalised Germans, Austrian roots, but coming through the host nation qualifiers.
81.
Did play in the World Cup for Austria back in 2010 with Mensur Suljovic.
In the grand old place of Sunderland.
100.
I'm going to be
Popular around that area?
I'm about as popular as many a virus.
Your
100.
Your words, Paul.
Yeah, how can you be popular in Sunderland when you're a Newcastle United fan and you're playing for Australia? Yeah.
That's a good point.
57.
But the upshot is Mike Langendorf finds himself nearly 120 points clear here. Jim Walker coming under pressure now for the first time in the game. You wouldn't know just by looking at his face, but
100.
I think Jim's thinking to himself, it's too steady at the moment. 220 after 9 darts. He really wants to be at least 60 to 80 points lower.
100.
Because at the moment, Mike Langendorf is giving himself opportunities. And things like 104, he can take those out at the moment. Whereas Jim Walker really needs to leave 80 here. And he's not going to do so. He's under pressure all of a sudden in this match.
60.
After strolling
Mike Uruguay,
for the first 4 legs.
104.
yeah, and even one treble there would have made it a lot easier. Langendorf is probably going to get 6 darts from here, staying on the treble 18. Doesn't get the one he wanted, and that's
39.
not what he wanted either. But
Jimmy Uruguay,
you
160.
can see that off in 2 darts, unless Jim Walker can take out a big one, which he will not do. Langendorf now coming back for 4-3 from
60.
4-0 down and
Mike
looking
Uruguay, 65.
pretty much nowhere in this game.
It's a 25 and it's tops. Hasn't been kind yet.
25.
Still not kind. So Jim Walker
Jimmy
coming back
Uruguay, 100.
for a treble 20 and top shot. Probably thought he wasn't going to get after Mike Langendorf's first dart.
Well, you have to say, Mike Langendorf is really struggling on double top. Is it tops? Oh, it was, a little smile from
80.
Jim Walker. He got one of them, but he needed 2
40.
of them. And now Langendorf, can you hit double top? Not with that dart.
Game
But
shot
that
on the
one you
7th
can.
leg. Mike
Finally, Mike
Hey,
Langendorf
leg is
pins
Jim
double
to throw
top.
first.
It is
Game on.
4-3. And he has clawed his way back into this game.
Well, you think with Jim Walker, this is a must-win leg now. He's lost the last 3. He's got to stop the rot. What a lie this is. This has got to go in the 60.
100.
He'll be livid that it hasn't because they were perfect, those first 2 darts, to have a 140. Well, he's got his tail up, Langendorf, now. Look at this.
140.
All of a sudden, what we thought might have been a stroll in the park for Jim Walker has turned into a pretty good game.
Well, there's not much between them in the averages.
100.
Once again, Walker gets one deflecting out of the treble bed. That finishing, pretty impressive from Jim Walker. Just a
57.
couple at double top that he's missed, but look at that. 8 at double top Mike Langendorf has missed. Couple of legs he could have won had he been more clinical. That little bit at the top of the board, and the game would look very, very
60.
different had he done that.
The dart players on the whole are very stubborn. He'll know that he hasn't hit tops in this match, but I tell you what, he will leave it again.
100.
Managed to finally hit it in the last leg, but it's taken a long while of trying Mike Langendorf. It'll be interesting to see if he does give himself an option of what double to go for, whether he sticks with it. As Walker comes down, good effect. 1-3-1, leaves himself 110.
Yeah, very classy 1-3-1 from Jim Walker.
Oh. 125. Jim, you require 110.
Yeah,
big moment.
Interesting that Mike Langendorf wasn't even bothered by that 5, just got out of the way. Jim Walker wants to get out of the way by leaving a double here and hitting tops to get his 2-leg advantage back.
90. Mike, you require 79.
Well, it drew a smile from Jim Walker. It may turn into a grimace in a minute. Langendorf, 79 needed. Ooh, 72. Oh, is that a double 16 he was going for? It was close to the double in the treble.
20.
It was neither here nor there, if we're honest. But Jim Walker, he is really not fussed, because all he wants is this.
Game shot on the 8th leg.
Jim Walker hits double 10 for the third time.
Game on.
And a missed opportunity for Mike Langendorf. Jim Walker holding his nerve. He is 1 leg away. And once again, Langendorf,
100.
well, he's got to win 3 consecutive legs. He's done that once in this match. He's got to do it again, and he has to do it right now. Or the first host nation qualifier we've seen this weekend in Riesa will see his challenge come to a very early end.
That's a much better visit from Jim. We've noticed that he's had a few deflections as Mike Langendorf gets a second bounce out of the match.
40.
His darts are quite a thick, straight barrel, so they will bounce off each other.
I'm curious at that first. It didn't look anywhere near a wire. It seemed to be going in relatively normally. It just spat out the board.
Funny old game sometimes, darts.
Probably not funny from where Mike Langendorf's standing.
Not at all. As you can see,
45.
that board has been butchered in the first couple of games. And by these guys.
And Walker has stolen the darts here. Great looking dart for him. Can he get another one in the treble?
100.
Happened a little bit too often that Jim Walker gets one in the treble and unable to follow it. He is 1 leg away, or 201 points away from a place in the second round.
97.
But you would think, taking on Ian White in the next round, if he does book his place there, he's going to have to be a little bit more consistent.
43.
There's just 43, so he is down to a finish. It's that 158 again.
Well, 43 is not what he wanted, but it depends. Well, Langendorf is going to put pressure on it.
139. Jim, you require 158.
Well, we talked about a crescendo earlier. This would be pretty good. Not to be.
60.
Well, okay.
Mike, you require 80.
Leaves him 98. Thought he might hit the 18 for this flat ton, but look at this Langendorf. Double 10. Double 10. Double
60.
10, Mike. That's what you needed. And Walker, 98 for the match.
Well, treble 20 for double 19. And the way that Jim's darts lie, if he hits the 60, double 19 is very inviting, because if it goes low, he's got a good guide. What will it be? Well, it's a 5, so it's 93. Treble 19 for double 18. And the match. And get it out of the way, Jim Walker. And he does.
And the match.
A very good finish for a 6-3 victory. Jim Walker of Scotland hasn't been on the European Tour for a while, but comes back with a victory over the German.
Yeah, Jim Walker through. He will face Ian White, the number 6 seed. We've got 5 more games this afternoon. And the session continues at the International Darts Open with Michael Rastovic versus Ryan Meikle. We'll grab a few words with Jim Walker before we see Ryan Meikle making his Euro Tour debut.
Zu langsamer Beginn in die Partie von Mike Langendorf. Hat sich gesteigert, aber es hat am Ende dann doch nicht ganz gereicht. Jim Walker damit also in der zweiten Runde. Und er spielt dann morgen gegen die Nummer 6 der Setzliste, gegen Ian White. Mike, darf ich dir eine Frage stellen? Ich weiß, nach einer Niederlage, das ist nicht das Allerschönste, dann auch noch drüber zu reden. War der Abstand anfangs zu groß? Hast keine Doppel getroffen zu Beginn und dann lief es eigentlich. Ich dachte, jetzt holt er sich's noch.
Also ich habe mich eigentlich richtig gut gefühlt, aber das ist beim Daten einfach manchmal komisch. Ich habe mich gut warm gespielt. das erste Leck war schon ärgerlich, da 3 Darts und das ist, ich weiß auch nicht, war irgendwie nicht richtig gut.
Okay, beim nächsten Mal wieder. Nächste Woche ist Mülheim, dann kommt Sindelfingen. Es gibt ja noch ein paar Möglichkeiten. Mike Langendorf, natürlich enttäuscht, dass er raus ist. Jim, congratulations. I just said to Mike, he started too slow, and then perhaps it was too big, the difference. 4-0, 4-1, you were up.
He missed doubles. Cost him.
It's all about the doubles, right?
That's it. It's all about the doubles. Unlucky. Next time though.
What? He's got a future. Also er sagte, er hat einfach die Doppel nicht getroffen. Beim nächsten Mal vielleicht. What do you expect from this weekend? Ian White is waiting now.
Well, good on him.